So I bought these cages by Repti-Zoo about 2 months ago. They come in 5 huge boxes, which makes it kind of hard to return. And I did want to return these enclosures because I have a few issues with them. So I have 3 ball pythons, and I had them all around the house. So I figured I'd buy one system to keep them all in one room, be easier to get to them, feed them, all that, so I don't have to walk all over the house to get to them. So I thought this looked like a nice system, but when I got it, it wasn't as nice as I thought it was going to be. So the system that I wanted, I ordered the 36 by 18 by 18, and the ones that I got were not that size. They were actually 35 by 17 and a half by 17 and a half, which is not the end of the world, but there is an issue that comes with that because the stands come separate. You know, you get the cages, you get the 3 cages, you put them together separately, and then you have these modules here that the cages sit in. So what happens is when the cages are smaller than what they're supposed to be, they don't fit properly on this stand. They kind of barely fit in there. As you can tell, they're kind of hanging right on the edge. They're working, but it's not ideal. It's not what I wanted. And you can see the corner right there. I mean, it's barely in there. And plus, it's kind of hard to tell if you're not seeing it in person, but it looks kind of silly with the big overhang like that. So, and also the other issue I had with this was these little panels here. They're supposed to be in there nice and snug, but they're not. They barely fit in there, and I got it taped actually, but any kind of like little pressure and they'll fall out, which for $1,000 is what I paid for this. I expected a little bit more. So I did want to return these tanks due to the sizes not being what they said they were going to be, and also too, I didn't like how these little panels fit. And so I contacted Repti-Zoo, their customer service, which is terrible, by the way. If you can only email them, and they kind of ignore you for a little while, but if you keep at it, they're eventually going to respond, and they're a little defensive and, you know, kind of like, well, what do you want now type attitude I got from the emails. I told them my problem. They told me to send pictures, which I did. And when I got the return email, their response, it was kind of like, yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And I said, well, it's not fine because the size of the tanks are not the size of the tanks that you said they were going to be. So I don't want smaller tanks, especially for her right there. She's my biggest. You know, I had her in a 36 by 18 by 18. You know, I definitely didn't want to spend money to get her in a smaller tank. And also too, I guess I probably could have lived with it. It'd been no big deal if the stands themselves were actually matching with the size of the tanks. So, you know, I got another email back, and it was barely, you know, well, let's just say it was still kind of defensive. They were like, well, if you insist on returning them, you're going to have to pay for shipping. You're going to have to pay for our shipping, our original shipping, you know, to me, and also spend 15% restocking fee, which, you know, with the cost of shipping these days is probably more than the system is even worth. So I, you know, told them I don't like that. I want to return them with you paying for the shipping because they're not what I ordered. I did not order 35-inch tanks. I ordered 36-inch tanks, and they came back and said, there's nothing wrong with our products. You just basically going to have to suck it up. You know, they're just, seriously, I'm not exaggerating, rude as hell. So ultimately, I ended up keeping them. The tanks themselves are enclosures. They're pretty good. I mean, with the exception of the fact that they're smaller than I thought they were going to be. They're decent, you know, but my biggest issue is this, and you know, so I don't recommend this. If you're looking for a stacking system, I would stay away from this Repti-Zoo, because obviously if you order a 36-inch tank or whatever size that you do order, you do expect them to be that size when you get them. And in this case, for some reason, they're not. So, and Repti-Zoo, I've used Repti-Zoo for a long time, you know, with all the, you know, the snakes and other reptiles that I've had with the kids and all that stuff. And they've always been decent. I mean, I've always liked the quality of their tanks, and the customer service was always good. But that has completely changed. I guess they're just, you know, kind of doing a different approach to customer service, which is basically take it or leave it, or spend more than what you spent shipping them back to us. So yeah, I don't recommend these. Like I say, you can see for yourself. I mean, they're not horrible. They do the trick. But, you know, when you order something like this, you're kind of going for the aesthetics. And this is, as far as I'm concerned, not worth the money, and kind of really poor that they would allow something like this to even be shipped out in this condition. But anyway, that's my review. I'm officially saying I would not buy these, but unfortunately I'm going to be keeping these. Thanks.